And people ask you if you're getting ready for your wedding, but they don't really ask if you're getting ready for your marriage, which lasts after the wedding is over.
And you don't have to give in to toxic wedding culture telling you you're not good enough unless you look perfect or in the best shape of your life or whatever it is.
This is your day. You can do your wedding how you want. You can have your bridesmaids wear jeans.
Hey, I'm Lisa.
I'm Christina.
Hey, I'm Catherine, and today we're gonna be talking about toxic
Wedding culture.
Gonna start off with a little disclaimer. This video is not about judging or criticizing anyone's actions. This is more about taking the pressure off and encouraging people to truly enjoy their day to the fullest. So that is the whole purpose of this video.
Through each of us getting married, engaged, planning our weddings, etc., we've realized how toxic wedding culture can really be. So we're gonna go through some of those reasons that we've realized today and break them down for you.
We did a podcast episode on this on the Cimorelli podcast. You can go subscribe to our podcast channel. And we were shocked by the huge response that we got to it. I was not expecting that. So we decided to do a whole video on this for our main channel.
Something I noticed when I got engaged was that it seems like people just associate weddings with your weight.
You are expected to be in the best shape of your life on your wedding day.
It is so annoying how people just, first of all, just ask you out of the blue, oh, what are you doing to get ready for the wedding? But they're asking like, are you on a diet? Have you started a new workout plan? Did you hire a personal trainer? Are you gonna get a spray tan? Are you gonna start whitening your teeth? They mean well when they say these things because it's kind of normal, but I've started to question it now that I'm on the receiving end of it, and it doesn't feel good.
There is no rule for how you have to look on your wedding day. No one gets to tell you that, and everyone's trying to say that with all these different companies offering all these amazing different treatments and diets and whatnot, whatever. But at the end of the day, you get to look however you want. You don't have to look perfect by society's standards.
All your friends like accept you, they love you, like you're chilling. And then suddenly when you get engaged, it's like, oh, well now, you need to be on a diet, you need to be planning this amazing thing, you need to be wowing everyone. Suddenly, the person that you are is so not good enough. Before you were great, but now that you're engaged, you're a horrible monster. Like throw everything out, you need to restart.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good, but if you feel like you're not good enough unless you look perfect or in the best shape of your life, if you're under the impression that you're not wedding ready and you don't deserve to be at your wedding unless you look perfect, that is toxic wedding culture and that is wrong.
Of course, I want to look beautiful on my wedding day. I don't want to feel like I am supposed to transform for one day of my life. Like some people spend an entire year prepping their bodies for their wedding. And I'm not blaming those people because the pressure is so real. And then what happens after your wedding day's over? Like, what if you hired a personal trainer? And what if you did this crazy workout regimen and had this amazing tan and new hair, blah, blah, blah. Like, am I supposed to just keep that up forever?
Women are given the message that as they are, they're not good enough for their wedding day. And this is how companies can prey on them, especially in this vulnerable time, and use that to get them to spend extra money they wouldn't normally spend on all these treatments to make them finally good enough.
Something else that I noticed was, I feel like the wedding industry in general is just very manipulative and extorting towards not only the bride and the groom, but like anyone else involved. So like, I've heard crazy stories about people that would tell a company that they're getting flowers for a different event, and they would get the exact same flowers, but because they didn't say it was for a wedding, then it was way cheaper. So it's like, or like getting a cake or any other thing. Like, why is it that we charge the heck out of people just because they're getting married? I just think that's something is very, very wrong about that. And it's just like, it's expected that you're gonna go into debt or like have to put your wedding on credit cards and then pay it off later. And I just think that's like, it's a very stressful way to go into marriage, and it's really sad that that's sort of the just precedent that everyone has set, like, oh, this is what you do. It makes me really angry, and it seems like an injustice to people.
There is no reason you need to go completely broke to pay for your wedding. You have your whole life ahead of you, and you have your life after the wedding, aka your marriage, to worry about. So spending all this money on your wedding and saying like, it's once in a lifetime, I might as well spend money that I don't have, that is toxic. I think it's really easy to get in that mindset of saying, it's once in a lifetime, I might as well just spend this, but you just gotta stop for a second and think, wait a minute, do I actually have to do this? Am I just doing this to impress other people, or is this something that genuinely means a lot to me? Once again, it's not bad to spend money, splurge, whatever, on things that you really want to spend on, that you love, whatever. But if you're being pressured into this by toxic wedding culture telling you, you have to impress people, you have to have an impressive wedding, you have to have X, Y, and Z, this is what every other bride has, whatever, that's wrong. You don't have to have those things. You can have whatever you want because it's your wedding. You get to make the rules. You get to make it whatever you want.
And also too, like, I feel like everyone else involved is also expected to spend a bunch of money. So like when I was younger, like there was like weddings that I was in where I couldn't attend the bachelorette party or something because I couldn't afford to spend tons of money to go travel, like do all these activities that were super expensive, a lot of them involving alcohol, and I don't even drink, but then I'd be like picking up the tab for that. There's just like so much of it is around money. And I think there is a difference. Like it's so important to celebrate the person who's gonna get married, like, and to wish them well and show your support. But not every person is at a place where they have tons of money saved up to spend on someone's wedding. So I think just like expecting that of people can be very toxic. And for the most part, I think it's just better to try to make things as low cost as possible as you can and be considerate of other people who are in the wedding party or involved, because not everyone's trying to break the bank for weddings when they could be in multiple that year too. So it's just a lot.
This is a tough one because oftentimes you're not paying for your wedding and you are being helped by a lot of other people. If this gets that toxic, sometimes you might need to say, you know what? I don't need your money anymore. I'll cut this, and this out of the wedding. I just can't have this person having all these intense, overbearing opinions just because they're helping me out with money. I totally understand, like, if someone's helping paying and they want to have like some input on things, yeah, that makes sense, I get it. But does that mean they need to hold it over your head and control or manipulate you, constantly bring it up, make it what they want because they're paying? I don't think so, and I think that's toxic.
And people just have no boundaries about weddings in general. I mean, they'll even like invite themselves. Remember, there's a budget that you can only afford to have a party that's already really expensive for so many people. You can't just like insert yourself into that, you know?
You can just kindly say to people, no thank you, or just change the subject. You don't have to like entertain those conversations. And oftentimes people will do this from a bad place. Sometimes it's from a good place, but sometimes it's from a bad place, and maybe they feel like bad about their wedding experience and they want to make themselves feel better, and they'll put you down or they'll put pressure on you. Once again, you don't have to give into any of that pressure. It doesn't matter what they think. This is your wedding. It's about you and your partner. It's not about anyone else.
So when I got engaged, it was like this huge rush of joy and excitement. And then I remember we were actually on a trip and we had like a 7-hour drive home. So on the drive home, we just immediately started talking about like, what are our colors gonna be? Like, what are some of the different, decor items? What do we want? Who do we want to invite? Like all the fun details. And I think that's something that starts out really fun, but can become a huge trap that people fall into so easily, which is focusing more on the wedding ceremony than on the actual marriage. I did feel really blessed to be Catholic when I was getting ready for marriage, because the way that the Catholic Church has it set up is like they have a really in-depth marriage program that you have to go through, like you're required to, and you have to do all of this counseling and all of this preparation. You have to go on a marriage retreat. You have to meet with a couple and go through all these questionnaires. It's like, it's very in-depth, and it was over the course of like 6 months for us at least, and we were engaged for a year. So I think like I felt really lucky going in that I had a structure that was in place already that we didn't really have to even dream up, that we just felt like it prepared us for marriage so well. We talked about finances, we talked about having kids, we talked about household tasks, like how we're gonna communicate, emotional things. Like we went in depth on so many things, and I've only been married now for a short time, but I already see the benefit of preparing for all the things leading up to marriage. So I think it can be really hard when you're planning a huge event in a short amount of time for tons of people, and these are your closest family and friends, so you really want it to be special. And like, I think it's hard because people go into planning a wedding with the best of intentions, but sometimes it can be sort of this cultural thing of we focus so much on planning a wedding that we forget about preparing for a marriage. And especially with the divorce rate being so high, like preparing for a marriage is the most important part. And it's just really sad to me that like that can get lost in, you know, the decorations and the food, where I even see like, I've heard so many people like just fighting with their fiance so much about the wedding, when it's like, this is supposed to be bringing you together, but because there's so much pressure put on it and all of this money and stress, like it's just become such a toxic thing, when really it's supposed to be a beautiful, beautiful part of your life. And it's just sad to me. Like, I feel like so much is stacked against you as a bride or a groom going into preparing for your wedding that you forget to prepare for the marriage sometimes.
I remember when I was planning my wedding, I did have to keep reminding myself of this because toxic wedding culture was pulling me in and stressing me out. So I had to keep saying, it's about your marriage. It's not about your wedding. This is a one-day event, and then you're gonna be married for your life. So take a second and remind yourself of that if you're in that spot. I remember I had to do that so many times, and it took so much pressure off of me. There was times where I was really getting caught up in like, oh, is it supposed to be like this? Is it supposed to be impressive? Am I supposed to be impressive? All those things. And I'd remind myself and be like, no, I'm not supposed to be impressive. I'm just supposed to be me. The people I'm inviting, they know me. They love me. I don't need to be some other version of me. I just need to be me.
I would say one thing about bachelorette parties that makes me upset is I've been to a few bachelorette parties where I feel like it was more about the maid of honor or one of the bridesmaids pressuring the bride rather than what does the bride want.
Some women forget that it's about the bride. It's not about you bullying her and pushing her into things she doesn't want to do. Now, I'm not saying all bachelorette parties are like this. I've been to plenty that were not like this at all. Mine was not like this, but there's something about them that if there's someone in your group who's kind of toxic, this like pushes her over the edge. It's not right. You don't get to cross people's boundaries just because they're bachelorette party. There's not some magical rule that goes, boundaries don't exist on bachelorette parties. They still exist, and you still get to say no. If you're not comfortable with something, people need to respect you.
I feel like, unfortunately, there's such an expectation. There's a lot of pressure for bachelorette parties from like movies and TV. I'm guessing that's where it came from, to like, you know, do something really wild and like, I lost my keys and my wallet and my social security card last night and I woke up in Abu Dhabi. I don't know, like people are just so crazy with it, and if you want to do that, then you will probably enjoy it and have a good time. But not everyone wants to do that. Some people even want to have like a more chill time.
Sometimes a bride just wants to have a chill night, maybe go away for a weekend with her friends. I did like a girls' night sleepover with PJs and like a movie. Like it was chill and it was so fun and it was perfect for me. And I don't drink anyway, so I didn't really want to have all that stuff, and I thought it was perfect.
I mean, for me, like I want to go bowling, you know? Maybe do some karaoke, get crazy.
And I feel like people just kind of put this pressure on you that you need to have this crazy wild night, but the truth is, it's your wedding. And you should get to have a bachelorette party that you love and that makes you happy. So I think this whole like pressuring girls to do a certain thing that might not even match their personality is completely out of line and needs to stop.
So, my recommendation that has really helped me is figure out what your priorities are. Do you want a beautiful wedding? Do you want a stunning, shocking, impressive wedding? Do you want a fun wedding? Do you want a really romantic wedding? For me, my priorities are that it's fun and really heartfelt and that everyone has a good time. That kind of helps me plan my day better, and it helps me make my choices for like what I'm wearing or what I want to do or how I'm treating myself. Like if I'm feeling pressure to be in perfect shape or be a certain size, it's like, okay, is that gonna make my wedding more fun? No, because this is what I've realized. If you don't look amazing, but you're putting pressure on yourself to look amazing, then you're gonna be really sad. Or if you do look amazing and you're putting all this pressure on yourself to have a perfect body or whatever, you're gonna be walking around all day thinking, did they notice? Did that person notice my waist? Did that person notice how skinny I am? Oh, is anyone validating me right now? Like how great, all my hard work? It kind of ruins the whole day. It takes you out of the moment.
My advice would be focus on your mental health. I did this to some degree, but after my wedding, I really told Catherine and Lisa about this. You really wanna focus on your mental health in that last month. Try to get things done ahead of time and prioritize yourself and taking care of yourself in that last month, those weeks leading up to the wedding. Focus on expressing your feelings, doing relaxing things, connecting with friends and family who are really, truly supportive and encouraging. And notice if there are people around you who are crossing your boundaries, and if you need to talk to them, I really recommend talking to them. Let them know this is not working for you, and you'd appreciate if they would stop bringing up whatever it is. Stop talking about your weight. Please don't talk to me about my weight anymore. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't appreciate it. Whatever it is, have those tough conversations.
I would say what I learned from planning my wedding, getting married, going through the whole process was, first of all, preparing for marriage. Because when you get to the altar and you're standing there looking at that person, you're either gonna feel peace or you're gonna feel a lot of fear. It doesn't mean that you won't have some jitters. I think everyone does, but like, I got to my wedding day and before that, I was so worried about feeling all this anxiety because I struggle with anxiety, and I was like, I don't want to feel anxious and afraid on my wedding day. But because we'd done so much preparation for our marriage beforehand, when I got to the altar, I just felt peace. I felt happiness, joy. So that is my biggest tip, is focus on the marriage and preparing for that, and you're just gonna feel so much better.
Try to realize, be aware of all these rules that are out there and realize they're not really rules, they're not really laws. You don't have to live by them, and it'll make your life a lot better if you consciously choose to not follow them and just do what you want to do. It's your day, it's your celebration. Focus on that.
At the end of the day, it's about you and your partner. You're in charge here. Just be as brave as you can and go for it. I don't think you're gonna regret being true to yourself at the end of the day, but you're probably gonna regret just going with peer pressure or whatever people are pushing you into because you wanted to be acceptable in that moment.
A lot of people gave me this advice, and I think this is so true, is don't let your fiance fall to the wayside in the planning process. So even 2 weeks before the wedding, I had all my friends coming into town, my bridesmaids, there was so much happening and it was all so crazy. And I remember I want to actually have time with my fiance, Max. So we planned a day together in the middle of all the craziness. Even with my friends in town, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go and spend a couple hours with my fiance. And they were all really supportive of it. So I would say even with all the crazy wedding planning stuff, plan intentional dates with your fiance so that you can just enjoy that time together and not worry so much. Because at the end of the day, all the decorations, the food, the music, things are gonna go wrong. Things are not gonna go as planned, and your day's still gonna be amazing. My day was in a freaking pandemic and everything went wrong. Everything literally went wrong. But I had a blast. I had an amazing day. I felt so happy because at the end of the day, I know this is cheesy and everyone says this, but you're married to your best friend and it's just the most incredible feeling. So all the little details, oh, this picture frame didn't come through, or this decoration, or this idea that I had on Pinterest, it all just melts away and you're just like, wow, my family and friends are here. We're all in a place together, not all of them because it was the pandemic, but a smaller version of people that you love and this person that you love, and it's so special and it's once in a lifetime, and you just look at this person and you're like, wow, this is amazing.
You were already beyond good enough the way that you are before you ever got engaged, before you ever got in a relationship. Try to remember you don't need to transform into a new being for this one day. You're not on a stage in front of everyone. I try to picture myself we're all here together. It's not me in front of my guests. We're all here to have a party and celebrate love and usher us into the future, Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. We love you guys so much. We just want you to give yourself a break and enjoy your day, because we totally get it with all the pressure and stuff. It is so real, and we shouldn't have to feel that way. We shouldn't have to be Barbie dolls just because we're getting married. So, that said, make sure you subscribe, join the Sim Fam. We are a positive, fun, loving community. We love personal growth and self-improvement here, and you can find a lot more of that on our podcast as well, so make sure to subscribe to our podcast channel too. So make sure to click subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. We love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and you are beautiful the way that you are. Mwah.